And we have a very important guest today, and that's the CEO of TTMA, and who made this possible for us to come, the ICG group. And I know he's got an important meeting, so he's taken precious time to introduce himself and welcome us. So I know people are arriving still late. I don't know if it's because it's Saturday. All right. So, well, what can I say? It is a privilege to be here in Trinidad. And those who are from here, you don't know how lucky you are to be in this beautiful island with the sea and the beaches. And so thank you to the CEO, Ramesh, for inviting us. So I'm going to call him up now so he can do his introduction speech. And so apologies, we are running a bit late. We were waiting for our technical person. So Jamil, if you could start the beginning, and then Ramesh can do his speech. We don't want to make him late. Thank you.
We'll be stronger when we are together. We'll take a stand to heal the world. That's who we are, and that's what we do. Ishkama, global change, promoting peace, uniting the world. Ishkama, global change, promoting peace, uniting the world.
Hello, everyone. So can I welcome our chief guest, the CEO of TTMA. So that's Mr. Ramesh Ramdeen.
Good morning, all. First of all, let me bring greetings on behalf of the business community of Trinidad and Tobago, but let me recognize Abnash on your wonderful team. Thank you very much for coming to Trinidad and Tobago. I think you told me this was your first time. I hope that you have the opportunity to experience not just the business aspect of Trinidad and Tobago, but the fauna and the everything that Trinidad has to Tobago, because Trinidad is a beautiful country, rested in the southern part of the Caribbean, just between South America, as you know, and the rest of the Caribbean. But the nice thing about coming to Trinidad and Tobago, you get a feel of the Caribbean part of it and the South American part of it. And I know you told me you're going to Tobago. So Tobago is all about the tourists and the relaxing part of it, beautiful waters, beautiful food. And I do hope that you get the opportunity to experience all that we have here to offer in Trinidad and Tobago, the wonderful people, the cuisine, the cultural dynamic. We call ourselves a kalu of people, where we come together with the African descendants and the Indian descendants and the Amerindians and the Caucasians and the Chinese, and we are a very pluralistic society. Having said all that, on behalf of the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association, we are very grateful that you could be part of the TIC that we're having now. TIC, for those who don't know, is a trade and investment convention taking place at the Center of Excellence. Today is the last day, actually, of that trade show. We have 37 countries participating in the trade show. We have countries exhibiting from North America, South America, Europe, Africa, China, Asia, generally Asia. We expect a throughput traffic over the 3 days of 25 to 30,000 people. You've been to the trade show, and I think those who probably could get the opportunity and can pass through today, you'll be amazed of what we do in Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad is recognized as a country that is generally known for our oil and gas and energy, but few people know about the dualistic nature of Trinidad and Tobago, and that we also have a non-energy manufacturing sector. A non-energy manufacturing sector that is the second largest employer of people in Trinidad and Tobago after the government, contributes to the country's GDP, 20% of the country's GDP, and one of the major earners of foreign exchange in Trinidad and Tobago. And we all know that we need foreign exchange. We have foreign exchange challenges in Trinidad and Tobago. The non-energy manufacturing sector with the export capabilities are able to bring in valued foreign exchange to Trinidad and Tobago. So let me compliment and thank you, Abnash, for bringing your team here. The IGC and what you're doing are very integral in all that we also represent at the TTMA. You speak of innovation, you speak of empowerment. TTMA is all about innovation, bridging that digital highway in order for us to grow, in order for us to close the gap between what we want to be and where we want to be. We need to embrace the digital highway, and the digital highway is all about innovation, embracing technology. You spoke about empowerment, and the TTMA is also about empowerment and all that we do. I just having a chat here with my colleagues around the table, and they're speaking about sports and youths and women. And we do have facilities at the TTMA and committees, subcommittees looking at empowering women. We work with the she trades people where women are empowered. We work with the disadvantaged sector in Trinidad and Tobago, the blind, the institute that oversees the blind people and the people who don't hear all that well. Those, I want to be politically correct, because to call them deaf to anyone blind is hearing impaired, right? I'm trying to be, and please excuse me if I am not politically hearing impaired. The physically challenged and disabled persons, we do work with them. We do a lot of work with those people as well. The police youth force, the sports and fraternity in Trinidad and Tobago. So empowering women, empowering youths. Having a conversation right now with the Minister of Sports that represent youths also. He's responsible for the Ministry of Youths. And he defined youths to be kids between the ages of 18 and 35. And we're working on a project where we could find placement for these people into the business community for working purposes. A lot of these people going to the universities, going to the schooling system, and are coming out not quite as ready as they should be for the working environment. And that speaks to the fact that how we need to revisit our education framework in Trinidad and Tobago to make it more accommodating and ready for placement of these people into the working environment. Long time, for those who are as old as me would remember that we grew up learning things like ethics and soft skills. We've seen that gap existing now in the environment. Youths coming into the workplace, starting to work 9 o'clock when the working time is 8:15, and 3/4 of the time they're on their phone and they're doing things that are relatively disruptive to productivity. So we do have challenges with productivity and those kind of things. As a result, I really believe, Abnash, that conferences such as this, where we could speak about some of these issues, bring it to the fore, ensure that we have an appreciation and an understanding of what it takes to build productivity, place Trinidad and Tobago and countries like yours and mine and throughout the Caribbean and developing countries on that trajectory towards sustainable growth and development. You also, in reading your material, you spend a lot of time discussing issues pertaining to sustainability as well, and these are things that we need to look at. Whatever we're doing in the business community in terms of manufacturing, sustainability is a key part of what we play, because what we're doing is not solely for today only. It has to be placed along a path of continuity and ensuring that our children and our grandchildren is in a place better than where we met. We're living where we are at a better place for our children and our grandchildren. So we have to ensure that how we engage in manufacturing, how we engage in production is about sustainable growth. We can't use all our resources today to exhaust and exist today only. It's frightening when I speak sometime about some of the things that are happening. Let me give you one practical example, and listen to the statistics I'm going to quote here. United States is the leading economic hegemon of the world. I think we will all agree with that. We can argue that is changing, and it could be China, it could be India, it could be the European Union. But as of today, I think it's safe to say that the United States is the leading economic hegemon of the world. Now listen to this. They utilize 40% of the world resources to maintain their economic hegemonic status with 350 million people. Let's assume China becomes the economic hegemon of the world. Let's just assume that. Let's just close our eyes and think that China could be the economic hegemon of the world in the next 10 years, which I think is a great distinct possibility. But to maintain that economic hegemonic status, United States is using 40% of the world resources. Not only their resources, the world's resources, with 350 million people. You see where I'm going with this. China has 1.4 billion, 1.6 billion people. Let's assume it's India. India has 1.3 billion people. Let's assume it's the European Union in collaboration with England and probably the BRICS countries. The BRICS countries include Brazil, Russia, India, South Africa. You're talking about populations well over 700, close to 1 billion people. If any of those entities become the world economic hegemon, how much of the world resources they have to use to maintain that status? And frighteningly, where we in Trinidad and Tobago with 1.3 million people, how are we gonna exist in that world? These are things that we need to ask ourselves, and that's why issues about sustainability and recycling and the circular economy and all these things becomes very, very important, not just for ourselves and existing today, but for our children, our grandchildren, the future. And if we don't set the example for those kids on that table there to follow in years to come, we're gonna run into some serious problems. So, with those few words, I hope that you all will get the opportunity to come and visit TIC. Today is the closing day. If you can, you'll be amazed. We have 350 booths at a minimum on display, and you'll be amazed of the products and offerings that we have in Trinidad and Tobago. A lot of people don't know that we have a dual economy that is beyond oil and gas, and you'll also be amazed of the level of digitalization, moving to the Digital 4.0 framework, speaking about innovation, speaking about empowerment. You will see a lot of women and youth entrepreneurs on display. You'll see a lot of SMEs. You'll see a lot of people from Tobago as well, the Caribbean, and as I said, we have 34 countries participating either as buyers and suppliers. So in conclusion, Abnash, I really and truly commend the effort that you have been doing in terms of having these conferences, not just in your home country, throughout the world, and trying to inspire the future generations, the women by empowerment, the youths, and people who are differently able and all these different things. Kudos to you, kudos to your team, and thank you very much for having me here this morning. Thank you.